Alright, hello and welcome back to another video. I hope we are doing well. Today we're going to be kicking off our Arduino adventure. We'll start with the basics of the Arduino IDE, get comfortable with the interface, and I'll show you one or two tips and tricks to hopefully make it a bit easier. Then we'll put our knowledge to the test with a basic blink circuit and get those LEDs flashing. Now, what is an Arduino? Arduino is a small, simple computer that helps you control electronic components such as, but certainly not limited to, lights, buttons, and motors. It controls these components based on the instructions you write for it, which is known as code. What is the Arduino IDE? The Arduino IDE, or Integrated Development Environment, is the software that you use to write, edit, and upload code to your Arduino. Think of it as a tool that lets you talk to your Arduino by giving it instructions. I'm going to show you how to download it and then we'll get started with it. Right, so we are going to head over to the arduino.cc website, find the software tab, give that a click, and once you've done that you can head to the downloads page, which is right here. You'll be able to find which operating system you'll use and just go click on whichever one it is. I have already installed the IDE on my computer, but we are just going to download here. You don't need to, once again, you can continue to just download and your download is going to start. Now it is quite a large download, and since I've already got mine downloaded, you can see it's 144 megabytes. I'm going to cancel this. Once that's downloaded, this is the installer, right? So you're going to go click on that and you are going to follow the instructions that it gives you to properly set up the IDE. Now, once you've done that, we can move on to the next step. Now, once you've opened the Arduino IDE that we've got here, we are going to head over to File and Examples, and there are a bunch of built-in examples here, and we are going to use one of them. Just head over to Basics and Blink. Now this will give us the code for the circuit that we are going to be building, and what's lovely about this is that there are notes, if you were to think of them like that, in the gray. These don't affect the code at all. It's kind of just for whoever is looking at the code, and it is as simple as that to get the code. You can check online to find code. You can look under the examples. There are a lot of different options. Now what we're going to do is we're going to verify it just to make sure that there aren't any errors, and as we can see, there are not. We've plugged in our Arduino and we are going to upload the code. Now it is done compiling and finished uploading. Now we can move on to the next step. One thing to make sure that you do before you upload your code is you want to head over to your device manager, find ports, and plug your Arduino in to your computer. And now it should tell you which port it is plugged into. So mine says COM6, so we are going to remember that. We are going to head back over to the IDE and make sure that you choose COM6 for which port you are going to be sending the information out of. And also, just make sure that you choose the right board. Right, so we've got our LED over here. As you can see, we've got one longer pin. One pin is longer than the other. This longer pin on the left here is known as the anode, and that is the pin that current flows into. And this pin on the right here is the cathode, and that is the pin that the current flows out of. Okay, so the components that we need for the circuit are our Arduino, breadboard. In a lot of these docks, they use a half-size breadboard, but I only have full-size one, so we're going to be using them. We've got one 220 ohm resistor, one LED, and then two jumper cables. We've already uploaded the code to the Arduino, so we're just going to go via the circuit diagram, and we are going to connect everything up. With the breadboard, we've got rows that run along from our orientation here vertically, and each row here is connected, and there's a disconnect between these two sides, and then it's the same there, and it runs like that along or down the breadboard. Then these over here, these long ones, are called power rails, and these run horizontally, and these are all connected up, and then if you want this entire rails, both of these rails to be powered up, you just need to put a jumper cable between the two. But yeah, that's just the basics of the breadboard. And now we are going to connect our resistor to the anode of our Arduino, the positive terminal, the long leg, as you can see there. And now all that's left to do is plug the jumper wire from the negative leg of our Arduino into ground. Ooh, let's turn this around. Actually, I've got a 9-volt battery, so that's also there for this. Instead of having to have it connected up to my laptop the whole time. Okay, so I know it's upside down, but yeah, so we've got the negative side connected up to ground, and then if we just double check our code, we can see that the pin out is pin 13, and that is right next to our ground pin. So if we plug it in, then you can see it's flashing. So there we go, simple blink circuit, done and dusted. It's amazing how much simpler something like this is than our 555 timer circuit. Right, so if you want to tweak the circuit and this code and come up with something different and more elaborate, I would love to see what you've done. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.